Race finally published after the blog you wrote back in 2014.
Back in 2014, yeah.
How does it feel to have it finally out in the world?
I'm really happy, I think. I'm really happy. This kind of work has basically dominated my entire 20s. I'm 27 now, and I've been sort of writing on the internet, in print, basically since I was 19 in some sort of form. And this book was taking a lot of time, and it was definitely in my head for a really long time. And so I'm glad that I managed to get it out when I was writing it all those years ago. And I'm excited for the ideas to be received by the great British public.
And you were writing, these ideas were gestating, as you say, over the years. What were the emotions that finally prompted you to write that blog, which went viral, which was also called Why I'm Not Talking to White People About Race?
Well, let's just say that it wasn't for want of trying. It was after sustained efforts to try to engage white people on the topic of race for at least a couple of years at that point, and really not getting anywhere. Actually, it was like banging my head against a brick wall. That in that original blog post I wrote that the words hit a wall of denial and we didn't really get anywhere. I was absolutely emotionally exhausted. I wasn't just frustrated, I was in a state of emotional exhaustion and really had reached a point where I was like, I cannot do this anymore. And it was really a point of despair, but something changed, once I pressed publish. And I was no longer despairing because of it took on a life of its own.
So it went viral and had a massive reaction. Tell us about the reaction and some of the feedback that you received.
So I would say that the reaction split up into two camps. First, there was the camp of people who said, oh my God, Reni, you have literally articulated something that I've been trying to do for a really, really long time. Thank you. And then the other reaction was, wow, you fundamentally changed my perspective on this issue. But it's also heartbreaking that you might choose to make this decision, because it was almost a bit like a breakup letter, It was me saying, okay, I can no longer do this. I need to withdraw for my own self-preservation. I couldn't deal with the angry denial from people. I was trying to have conversations about the nuances of a problem with people who didn't want to accept that there was a problem in the first place.
And one of the many conversations you have in the book was actually an interview. You interviewed many people, including Nick Griffin. So what was that like?
Oh, I mean, well, I'm a journalist, so I often speak to people who I just need quotes from. I'm not their greatest fan, so I just treated it like that. But I thought it was quite important to talk to him in this book, because I think that he's had a huge impact on how Britain is talking about race today. So I think that this phrase, the white working class, that has really taken hold in our mainstream political discourse currently. Well, I mean, if you look back to what he was saying on Question Time in 2008, he was using those words. And he was saying that the white working class, well, I'm paraphrasing here, but he was putting forward an idea that the white working class are being besieged by immigrants who are hoarding scant resources, and actually that the state is pandering to them. And at the time, that was very quickly shut down with, oh no, we don't stand for that. That was very quickly condemned. But actually that narrative is really back with a bang in much more respectable quarters. And what I wanted with that interview was for people to remember that. I think that I might receive some justified criticism around the idea of no platform and people saying that his views are hateful and they should not be given a platform. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're already out there now. Not only that, but I think that it's about the context. The context is key. Right. And the space in which that interview sits in the book is a very critical context, which, once you get to that point in the book, you can very much see why what he's saying is so wrong.
You go back to when you were 4 years old, and you've been a voracious reader since an early age. And the book's full of questions. And one of the heartbreaking question that you asked your mum, age 4 years old, was, when am I going to become white?
I asked her that question because I was reading, I was consuming the media around me, I was not untouched by the world around me, and I realised that the good people were white. and the bad people were not white. Right. And I considered myself to be a good person, so that's why I asked the question. Right. I think that fiction is one of the most, effective accelerators of empathy in the world. It's an amazing way to put yourself in someone else's shoes, and it certainly had that effect on me. It absolutely made me very, very familiar with a white perspective. It absolutely gave me a lot of internalized racism. Sometimes I think, whilst talking around this book, I've been told, well, you need to put yourself in a white person's shoes and consider this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't think you understand. Culture's done that for me.
You've been doing it since you were born, the day you were born, in ways that people just don't understand.
Absolutely not, absolutely not. To the extent that I sometimes even second guess myself. And I suppose what I'm trying to do with this book is really unapologetically decenter whiteness. I really want people to know that this is not a capital W white perspective on race. It's something different. It's something that you're not going to have come across in your Sunday paper, or you're not going to have flicked through it, while you're flipping through your TV channels.